Here we go. All right. Couple minutes late. Anybody coming on? I hope I didn't blow it by running late. I was upstairs talking to my wife about stuff, and then I realized what time it was. All right. Likes? Anybody out there? All right, guys. So let's get started here. Got a couple people coming in. Started a little late. I was upstairs talking to my wife, and I forgot, lost track of time, and then my alarm went off. It says that I'm doing a live stream, so I ran down here to come and do the live stream. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on so far. Another week of bodybuilding, and get into some stuff. And if there's any questions along the way, we're going to hop on that. We're going to do it. So if you're here listening, give us a quick little shout out on the side so I have an idea, someone to talk to, see what's going on. What are my notes for today? What do I want to talk about today? So another week into the bodybuilding, getting leaner, down another 2.5 pounds, which is pretty cool. And just getting into the flow of things. Sorry, where I put my notes for I sent something here. Sorry about that, guys. Where's it here? Oh, there it is. So about 6 weeks in now, things are going quite well, getting into a good groove. Actually, I had a really good chest workout today, which was good, working on that shoulder. Busy week with the business and stuff, and life in general, of course. We did a webinar earlier with got a group of people doing a 6-week challenge. So we're covering a couple cool topics and stuff, and we were just going over just stuff that you run into. So they're into their starting their second week next week, so everyone's all excited and full of piss and vinegar, which is cool. But it's when you get into 5 weeks and 6 weeks, and then you're the newness and excitement of whatever thing you're working on starts to slowly dissipate and wane. You've really got to be focused on your why and what you're doing and what your goal is. And then things are going well, but it's also it's 6 weeks in, but the net game is 8 months away. So that's where I find it starts to always get interesting. Is if you don't have that same excitement you did when you first started, and you've got a long time to go, so a lot of weight to lose, a lot of changes to make, and a long time, meaning 8 months. You really have to stay focused on why you're doing it and what the whole purpose of it is, and your mindset has to be strong, and your focus has to be really strong. What you want to make sure is you've really created the big why, and it's important enough for you to want to keep carrying you through the quieter times and the less than exciting times. And I wouldn't say boring, but there's a lot of workouts to go. There's a lot of meals still to go. There's a lot of those things that still have to happen, and you have to keep staying the course overall. Like I said, training went really well. I was really pumped with things. Just good workouts, good intensity, good focus, good rhythm, good groove, and it's good. The weights are coming up, which is always good. That's always my thing as a power lifter. we're going for the pump and we're going for the burnout sets, but you want to still make sure that you're getting stronger. To me, that's something I think that's really important. And, one of my fears, I think, with losing a lot of weight is watching the strength, you know, shit the bed or plummet and stuff. And I don't think it has to. I just think it has to be a little bit different overall, right? Our expectations have to change. I like the way the body's starting to change. So I'm down almost 40 pounds since December 15th. And I feel really good. The energy is really good. I'm liking how the muscles are coming online and how I'm feeling. I'm seeing the shape change, right? I'm seeing the shoulders and the traps and the bicep tie-ins. When I lift my arms up, there's a little bit of separation between the bicep and the tricep, which is cool. Still a lot of gutty to get rid of, so you don't notice it as much through the waist. Although I do notice all my pants are fitting different, and even just getting up out of a chair, getting out of bed, getting up and down, definitely easier because you're starting to lose weight around the midsection. So very motivating stuff, obviously. And people around me are saying they're seeing a difference, which is great. I appreciate that. And even if it's just lip service, it's still good. It's motivating, right? And one of the things I'm working on is my shoulder rehab at the same time. So over the last year, my shoulder got a little beat up, and no real injury, but just a lot of inflammation with the bicep tendon and coming through the minor pec tendon and off the clavicle. And I've lost a lot of mobility and range of motion. So last week, I actually went into the physio and had two big sessions in there, 2-hour sessions, and they got in there. And I'm actually bruised in the back lat from where they were digging in. But the Sunday before, I had trouble taking down 135. One plate aside just was horribly painful. Last Sunday, I was working with 225, and this Sunday got up to 3 plates, a little bit heavier than 3 plates, and starting to feel good. And it's a weird feeling because the weight doesn't feel heavy. My bench is really strong, but it's just feeling that weight and that movement and that shoulder loosen up, which is good. But focusing on the rehab, like I said last week, I was just doing too much rehab work. Sometimes when you have a bunch of knowledge, you're more dangerous because I was doing a whole bunch of different exercises, and I was actually inflaming things, and I was antagonizing it too much. So going down to more of a basic rehab move and doing it consistently has made a big difference. So I'm back into the physio tomorrow morning, Monday morning, going to get in there, 3rd session. I feel the difference. It's improving for sure. So I'm sure they're going to see it. And that's the big thing that we got to really work on increasing. So on my right side, I can lift my arm up, no problem. On my left side, I couldn't even do that last week. So that's a big difference. And as that mobility increases, then they're going to be able to get in there and do some of the actual physio work. So I'm nowhere near the TENS machine or the cupping or the needling, the dry needling. I'm nowhere even near that. I've still got to work on being able to open things up and get the movement and allow for things to move properly and sit better and take some of the pressure off those areas. So in a couple of weeks, a lot of progress. I feel really good about it. Guys, if you're just jumping in, say a little something for me in the comment section in the live chat. Just gives me, I see there's 3 or 4 people watching. I think that's great. Just a little hi, Curd, how are you? That kind of thing. It's just, it's always nice to know I'm talking to somebody overall. If you have any questions along the way, definitely throw them in there. That's what this is all about as well. And again, the whole purpose, what I'm doing here is just to document weekly what I'm going through, what bodybuilding is like, how I'm adapting to it, what I'm running into, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you like what you hear and if you're not already subscribed, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the little bell so you get a reminder when these things happen. We're going to rock this every Sunday. I've talked to a couple other bodybuilding guys. We're going to get them to come on in the next couple Sundays as well. Just, again, knowledge for me, but knowledge for you guys as well. So, looking forward to doing this. Hey, Jamie, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. So the shoulder rehab, it's a little bit of work, but there's a lot of progress. So that's definitely motivating. And I'm really, really pumped about that because at the end of the day, the bench press is always going to be near and dear to me and part of who I am. So if for some reason I couldn't bench press, it would fuck my shit up pretty wild. Like I'd have a hard time with just training ever and stuff. So it's on me. It behooves me to do that physio work and to stay on top of things overall. Because at the end of the day, I still want a big bench. 2020, I want to go back and work the powerlifting again. But also, ultimately, I'd like to get down to 275 in powerlifting and still bench, in the high 5s and move towards that goal of 600. So definitely important to me. And that's what's nice about doing this bodybuilding for 2019 is that it's definitely a different challenge. It's going to help me lose a bunch of weight, move better, feel better. But at the same time, it's going to allow me to work on some of the areas that just need more attention that just I don't get to when I'm just doing the heavy lifting, right? So it's going to be nice to give the joints and the ligaments and all that stuff a nice break overall. And then so it was nice to bench a little heavier today. It felt good. It felt like I wasn't, definitely going from scratch. And I'm not going to sit there and try and put a plate on every Sunday and stuff. But I mean, I'd be happy if I can get back to just doing some good sets and repping in the 400s. 5x5 at 400, definitely well within what I could do in my peaking of powerlifting. But from a bodybuilding point of view, if I can keep rehabbing the shoulder that allows me to do that, then I also know I'm going to get better shoulder, tricep, and even pec, activation overall. Moving on to the incline today was good because last week incline, at 25 aside, a couple sets of 8, and I was done. Today it was one plate aside, and I did 3 sets of 8, and it felt better. Still have to be careful. And then getting into the other accessory work like the cable crossover and the tricep skull crushers or push downs, that went really well. And that's kind of my guideline. As I'm pushing a lot of sets and reps, when things get really pumped and I start to feel the shoulder, that's when I'm backing off. I'm using that as my my barometer, I guess, if you will, overall. But good pump, good sweat going on overall. We had a really, really good workout, and it was cool. Just I like working the cable crossover now because when I do that, I like the activation, but I also can see how things are changing. So I took a picture today. I'll post it up later. And even in a long sleeve T-shirt, you can see better bicep, shoulder, trap tie-in happening, which is the first signs of the leanness overall. People say they see it in my face and that kind of stuff. But it's definitely in the extremities where you'll notice the leanness faster. And again, motivating and encouraging and stuff, to say the least. And, but there's still a lot of work around the kidneys and the stomach and stuff like that to go. But even then, when I look in the mirror in the morning, I'm seeing a difference and feeling a difference. So it's good. I'm still highly motivated. I was talking to a gentleman today on Facebook. He was talking to me about just the different feds for bodybuilding. And then, it's going to be another month. I'm going to have to start to really looking at, okay, who am I going to work with for contest prep? Start working on posing routines. And I kind of want to add those layers to keep me motivated moving forward and such, right? Some challenges this week with the food. I'm not gonna lie, and only on the food prep side, not on eating the same thing, not on being overly hungry. Again, the only time I'm overly hungry is if I definitely don't have that first or second meal when I need it and stuff. But as a rule, I've been hitting my first meal kind of intermittent fasting. So around noon, 1 o'clock is my first meal. Have it prepped. Everything goes really well. If I don't have the prep and I'm behind and stuff like that, then I start, looking at the the protein bars, and instead of eating one a day, when if I need to, I get stuck eating 3 or 4, and I don't want to go down that path, right? And it's really on me. It's really on making sure that I've got some food prep and that I've got it ready. And one of the things for me is, eating the same thing over and over again does not bother me. So, my daughter makes a phenomenal beef chili that we put a lot of meat in and some beans and stuff like that. It tastes really good. I could eat that 4 times a day, every day. I really, really like it. And it's on me just to make sure that I don't run out of the raw materials for her to make it for me and stuff. And she's happy to do that. And then make sure that I always got the veggies ready to go. And then just alternate between rice and potatoes. Rice is a little more complicated, only because I'm the only one who likes to eat rice. So then I have to make sure that I make sure I make a pot up on a regular basis. And other than that, as long as I do that, I don't have a problem. A couple times this week, I stayed up late working on some stuff. So when I got up, I had less time to get ready, and I was rushed, and then I wouldn't grab a couple meals and stuff. So again, definitely on the self-discipline part. And as I said before, with the bodybuilding, the thing that I've always remarked the most, that impresses me the most about bodybuilders, is the self-discipline. Self-discipline in what they eat. The workout, again, that's not the hard part for me. It's the discipline, the food prep, having a rated discipline of, here, I got to be in bed by this time. I got to be up by this time. That is the discipline. And that's where I'm going to see, or I'm seeing will definitely be the areas that I'm going to weaken. I'll have the biggest resistance in overall. So I just got to stay on top of that and remind myself that if I'm rushed in the morning, then everything suffers and there's a domino effect throughout. Getting my intermediate cardio in has been good. Hitting the again, stationary bike, upright bike, a little bit of elliptical. 25 minutes now is not a big deal. So I'm going to ramp that up to 30 minutes next week on the days off in between the weights. So, that's good. And again, I'm feeling that a little bit of a cardio improvement overall in that, which is good. It gets a little hard on the ass sitting on the seat overall, but compared to 6 weeks ago, I feel really, really good, and I'm really motivated. I'm pumped about this. I'm excited about it. Like, I get to the workouts. For me, it's the leg workouts. If I'm excited to do a leg workout, I can do any workout and stuff like that. So it's been good. My knees are bugging me a little bit, but I think it's just because I haven't worked legs hard in years. So I think there's just a little bit of strengthening that has to come up. I have to catch up and let the joints and ligaments get caught up. So I was talking to one of my training partners, Steph, tonight, and I said for next Thursday, I'm definitely going to lower the weight a little bit more on the leg extension, get more reps in. If I go a little too heavy, I just feel the stress through the top of my knees. So I don't want to do that. I like the leg extension as a warm up before we go on to leg press and hack squat. And I definitely have to start wearing a belt for the hack squat. The last workout went heavier. Like I said, all the weights have been getting heavier and heavier. Then it might be the movie. Hey, Hannah Marie, how are you? Hey, Jan, might be the weather. Yeah, it could be. It could be a little bit of that overall. I just think it's been 6, 7 years since I did really good leg workouts, so I think I have to catch up. I think that's really the big difference on it and stuff. And just push through it. Just push through it. That's the cool thing. With the bodybuilding, if go lighter, pound in a lot more reps, take more sets in there. It's all about getting that blood pump in there and gorging the muscle with a lot of blood and stuff. So we'll work around that. And definitely the belt, like I said. So the hack squat, doing it's not too bad, but I feel like the last set or two, my back's starting to get tight. And then I just don't want that to become an issue overall. I don't want to be the guy that wears the belt the moment he comes out of the change room either, right? I just want to have it for when I need it and do that kind of stuff, make sure things are cool and just, grind into it. And now that I'm sort of settling into it, just keep amping up the intensity, keep amping up the volume and stuff like that. Still keeping the workouts, short and intense, which is good. 35, 40 minutes in and out. I really like it. And I find that too is better on my nervous system. So, and again, I don't know how people do these 3-hour workouts and what's going on. And especially later on, as the calories get a little bit tighter, there's less fuel. I don't know, man. I don't know how they do it. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we find it. A couple of switches I've made already in nutrition is I've gone back to something I used to do where when I lost a lot of the weight is my first couple of meals had the carbs with the protein and the vegetables. And my last 2 meals of the day were dropping carbs and keeping the fats a little higher. So, for example, my meal now, last meal, and the one I'm going to have after this is just a good size serving of that red meat based chili and some veggies, and that's it. And then tomorrow my first 2 meals will have the carbs in with it overall. So that worked well for me earlier. When I did this carbs earlier in the day, so I have them for fuel, and I have the whole day to burn off the fuel. And then in the evening, as activity level slows down, so do the intake of the carbohydrates overall. And again, every week I'm hopping on the scale and I'm down to about 2.5 to 3 pounds per week, which is good. The first 2 or 3 weeks was faster, but as long as that's happening and things are good and I'm feeling good, I'm just going to keep riding that overall. I think where I'm really going to start to see, I started this at 392. Where I'm really going to start to see things change is when I get into the what macros am I aiming for fat loss? Right now, Jamie, I'm aiming for about 250, 275 grams of protein, 250, 300 grams of carbs, and about 100 grams of fat. And that's working well because obviously I was eating more than that before. So I'm seeing that start to make a difference overall. And I'm not too hungry too often. I guess I miss a meal or two. No problem, Jamie. And it's when things start to slow down, that's when I'll have to look at tweaking things and stuff. I was talking to one guy, and he was telling me he thinks there's going to be a point in time where I'm going to have to increase my macros and go up to 400 grams of protein and 600 grams of carbs and 125 grams of fat. But, I think that'll be when I've achieved more overall fat loss and weight loss and see how things are going that way. So I'm really not trying to lock myself into anything. Hey, this is the way I'm going to eat for the whole time. I'm really looking at here's what's working for now, and then start looking at other options as I get further into the body changing to see where we're going with stuff. get about it, and then whatever. If we're gonna follow this nutrition for 6 weeks or 12 weeks, just fucking follow it and just do it and stuff, right? So and that's kind of cool too. It's kind of cool to have that opening that way overall, and just to manage, like I said, just stay focused, man. It's just really stay focused and stay organized to be on top of those things as well. In the gym, I'm in the gym officially, 1 to 10 o'clock Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. till 10 p.m. So that's where I have to make sure I've got a couple meals with me to make sure that works out well. And then the weekends I have a lot more open time. So again, with structure, it's easier. It's making sure, like this past Saturday, I was at a powerlifting meet, and that was a little bit different. I ate before I left, and then I was there for 4 or 5 hours, and it was really cool. They actually had chili and rice as some food for the volunteers and helpers and people involved in it. So that was perfect. Or else I would have just gone without, right? So that's where I have to be a little smarter, a little more ninja-like, and I've got to get into that. I've got the thing that carries the 6 meals and stuff. I have to get that kind of organized for when I'm out and about for the day and stuff, right? So again, there's no mastery overnight. It's really about, what am I running into, and then how do I solve that, and sort of just keep evolving with it overall. As I was saying earlier, I was doing a webinar with a group of people from the gym that are in our 6-week transformation that we're doing right now. And we talked about a thing called the resistance. And the resistance is kind of cool. I actually did a podcast on it on the Silverback. Anything that we're going to run into, any issue that's going to get in the way. I think life, throws curveballs. Things happen. We don't have control over a lot, only ourselves. So I believe there's this force out there. Star Wars calls it the Force, whatever. I call it the resistance. It's things that are just going to go wrong. Things that are just going to get in your way. Things that are going to present themselves that you're either going to have to turn into and deal with, or they're going to derail you. And I think if you're not focused enough, and don't have a big enough why, the determination's not there. Like Bigfoot, that's right, son. My smart ass son just jumped on. Like Bigfoot, that's a hell of a resistance. Turn into that motherfucker, right? At the end of the day, it's to turn into that and look at the resistance. So the resistance is, I'm getting up late, I'm rushing. Well, then I need to turn around and organize better so that doesn't happen. So those are things I can control. What I can't control is, I don't know, a car crash in front of me and I'm 25 minutes late, or a customer comes in and I have to deal with it, or with them on an issue or something, or there's an order that's late. Like, there's always going to be resistance coming. There's always going to be things coming at us. But we need to learn that A, first accept there's going to be resistance, and B, the bigger the changes we're trying to do, the more that we're really trying to improve and really become who we want to become, the bigger those resistances are going to be, right? We're really trying to turn a big ship. When I look at how we're trying to change our life and we're trying to improve things and turn things, it's a big ship, and it doesn't turn on a dime. It takes time to turn it. There's forces against us. And, learning to deal with the resistance and doing what we can to brace ourselves against that resistance. So organize, rituals, mindset, preparedness, right? Those are the things that are going to get us, or prepare us, or enable us to deal with that resistance. But you can't go through a change or go through life and pretend like you're not going to run into resistance. That is a definite. And that's the thing we need to understand, is that there's always going to be some resistance. There's always going to be something pushing against us, trying to push us off track. When a pilot sets a course for their destination, right? The whole trip, they're doing these micro adjustments to keep putting themselves back on track because of wind and air pressure and gravity and force. The plane is always being moved around. It's always being pushed off course. So it's the pilot and the computer systems are always constantly recalculating, readjusting, working to keep us on track, keep us on course, right? Because it has to deal with those forces, that resistance. It's the same for when we want to make changes overall, right? And at the end of the day, if we have a poor mindset, or we're not focused, or we're not prepared, then we're at the mercy of whatever comes at us, right? And then we get blown way off track, right? We end up in a place we didn't want to be, right? Or we didn't expect. And then when that happens, then we're going to follow under different influences and different temptations, right? So if you go somewhere and you're starving and you haven't eaten properly, and then all of a sudden you're sitting down at a restaurant and everyone's ordering crap, well, it's going to be a lot harder for you to be strong and not order crap. You can go to any restaurant, order a garden salad and a chicken breast on the side and have a glass of soda water. You've got a good, clean meal. But if you go in there and you're not starving, and you go in there and you're on course and you're feeling good, That's not an issue. But if you go in there and you're feeling tired and you're feeling weak, right, and you're hungry, right? Well, it's going to be a lot. You're going to be a lot more tempted, a lot more tempted, to partake in the nachos, in the cheesecake, right? In the sugary drink or the boozy drink and stuff. So really, it's about being ready and prepared overall. And so that's been good overall. At the end of the day, um, a lot of people now know that I'm doing this, so there's a lot of questions. They're asking, they're checking in with me. I got to be honest, that helps. That helps because you don't want to be the douche that says, "Oh yeah, I'm not doing that now," or "Oh yeah, stuff got in the way," like that. Just common, the bullshit excuses. I don't want that to be that. So that's a good pressure. That's a good pressure that I put on myself to keep me focused, to keep me wanting to make the right choices, to make the corrections and stuff. Right. So at the end of the day, we need to have some commitment, but we need some accountability. Having training partners is great. So Steph is my training partner, but now we've got Cameron training with us, and now we've got Eric training with us. So there's 4 or 5 of us that are meeting up, and it's working out well because they like that. They want the pressure. They want the intensity. We were training today, and we ended up finishing off doing some core, which, you know what? If one of the guys hadn't said core, Steph was, I think, the one that brought it up. You know what? None of us would have done it because we were tired. Right? Human nature. Okay, I'm done. That's good. We did a pretty good job for Sunday. You start giving yourself those outs. You start, congratulating yourself for doing a decent job overall. And then, he's like, hey, let's finish off with the core on that ab machine. I'm like, all right, fuck, let's do it. So we did, you end up doing 2 or 3 sets, which is 2 or 3 sets more than you probably would have done on your own. Right. And even, even if you want to go hard, when you're tired, it's hard to squeeze out an extra set or 2 or 3 extra reps when you're by yourself, from safety, from setup, and that kind of thing. So having a training partner to help handle the weight, to force a couple extra reps on there, to push you a little bit more, right? Or they're pushing really hard, right? And they're setting the tone. And I'm like, fuck, if he can do it, I want to do it, right? And so it's good to have that little community, right? It's all about community. We talked about it a bit the other day. Is that who we surround ourselves with, who we spend the most time with, influences who we are, who we become. We're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, that kind of thing. So definitely in a smaller microcosm, in a group and training partners definitely makes a big difference, right? You got one guy who fucking loves back, well, we're gonna have better back workouts. You got one guy who loves legs, well, we're gonna have better leg workouts, right? That kind of thing. So that stuff, is contagious in a positive way, right? That's a positive peer pressure overall. So pretty sharp, pretty happy with that overall. And then, other than that, so going forward for this week coming up, more of the same. We just actually on Saturday it was actually really cool, and I actually posted something on Facebook about that in the powerlifting. Just because I'm not actively powerlifting in competition, I'm still heavily involved. We've got a big meet coming up April 27th at the gym, Iron Annihilation, looking to have over 100 lifters over 2 days. But at the same time, I like being around the meet. So this Saturday I was at my buddy's gym, Beyond Fitness in Embrun, down the Porch Gym, and he had a little fun meet, just a fun little powerlifting meet. And 12, 13 people lifting. We had a booth set up. We were selling our hoodies and stuff, which was really cool. But what I really was really sharp, there's a family, the Harrison family. They're out of Brockville. I met them a few years ago when I went out there to do a seminar at a gym. And there's the dad, Mark. There's a son, Ty, and daughter, Emily. They all compete, and it was funny because when I was at the meeting, it was really the daughter, the son competing, the mom and aunt was there. They all showed up to support, and it was really cool to see and hockey with the hockey moms and dads and that kind of stuff, right? But I was much and it was kind of cool genetically. They're just so Emily, 16, pulled a 315, 3 plates aside yesterday. The dad did, I think, a 450 or 460, and Ty's not competing until our meet in April, and he's looking to do 700 pounds as a junior at 21, 22 years old, So, not only are they into it, but they're good at it, and they're loving it, and they're good. And it's just, another reason that I love powerlifting, I love training, is that there's so much that people can have in common, but yet still be different in so many other ways and stuff. But I really like that whole family atmosphere, though. I thought that was really, really sharp and stuff. So it was cool to see. And I enjoyed the Saturday. And I spent time talking training. I spent time, working on the brand, selling the clothing and stuff. And people are happy to see us. And, it's another example of, we're going off the bodybuilding track a little bit, and maybe we're not, but just talking about, living your passions and lifters, and want to support the meeting today and stuff, because you get that vibe, you get that feeling, right? And I really, really liked it. Guys, if you're just jumping in, if you haven't had a chance, hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're going to be doing this live feed every Sunday, and just sort of, how things are going and my progress as the 50-year-old bodybuilding rookie. I'm talking to a couple guys, like I said earlier, and I'm repeating myself for some of you that have been listening, but for you newer listeners, we're going to be bringing on some people in the bodybuilding world that are doing it, that have competed, and just, Q&A, bounce some questions. So a really good chance for you guys in on it and see what it's all about, and maybe get motivated, or for your own training, or help solve a couple issues you may be having and stuff. So we're definitely going to do that. And again, it's part of that accountability circle for me. Keeps me focused, keeps me dialing it in, right? I don't want to show up here on a Sunday at 10 and be a schmuck saying, I didn't train, I didn't eat well, I gained 5 pounds, right? So again, that's part of that key, is networking yourself in such a way that you just keep moving forward and stuff. I'm just going to check Facebook here. I think I saw something pop up. There's a question. You can watch me with my furrowed look as I'm concentrating on stuff to see what's going on. Yeah. Just making a little comment here real quick. Now you're watching me type efficiently. There we go. Let's come back here. Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, that's been the week in a nutshell. Overall, body's feeling pretty good. Sleeping really well, which is really good too. So that's the thing I noticed. Like I said last week, at the beginning of last week, just staying up a little too late, a little late in the morning. So the last 2 nights, making sure to get to bed earlier, and but just I find my quality of my sleep is better. So, and I think that's just because I'm getting fitter, a little bit stronger. The body's doing well, and I also think, coming from the last 3 years, but especially the last 5-6 months up until December, I think my nervous system just got the shit kicked out of it from all the heavy lifting and trying to break that 600 and go after it. So I think what I'm seeing is I'm idling down now. The workouts are good, but it's a different stress on the nervous system. So I'm getting a chance to settle down and recover. And because of the stress level coming down and my cortisol levels coming down, a couple of things are happening. A, I'm feeling better. B, as your cortisol levels, come down, you store less fat and you don't eat as much muscle tissue. So that's a big, that's a big relief, and definitely where I'm going with things is I want to keep making sure I'm recovering so that my cortisol levels don't go too high, right? Because if they go too high from all the stress, physical, mental stress, running a business, all those things, if it gets too high and those cortisol levels keep firing, you can feel run down. You lose muscle tissue, you store body fat, you sleep horribly, your testosterone takes a shit kicking. So definitely getting back to just bringing that stress level down physically and mentally and controlling those things are idling down and feeling better overall. So I think I'm really starting to feel that, as well as just getting more well-rounded with the bodybuilding, hitting to all the body parts and getting a more complete full body workout. And again, that cardio, that steady state, and this is something I've been after everyone that's trying to get healthier and lose weight, just Still Strong. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Who's Still Strong? I see a picture of the gym there. What's your real name, Still Strong? That steady state cardio, it just helps bring everything down. Good blood flow. So what it does is it gets into the body parts that you've worked a little bit, gets blood and nutrition and oxygen in there, and then gets rid. Oh, the Carcajou. Welcome, Steph, my training partner. Everybody, Carcajou is Steph Morissette, my training partner, the one who made me do abs today. Really good guy. And again, he too is on the bodybuilding for 2019. So, I keep joking we're going to be doing the mixed pairs together, like this figure skating movie Blades of Glory, where the two guys got together. I think we could definitely be some trendsetters there. We could definitely disrupt the bodybuilding community with that. But that steady state cardio, just getting in there for 25 minutes or so and getting a little bit of blood flow, a little bit of breathing, and then cleaning everything out and giving a chance for the body to repair more. right? And get rid of a lot of the waste material. Because when we train, we destroy muscle tissue, we break it down. So like anything, imagine a fire is when you burn something, there's smoke and there's waste material and there's heat and all these byproducts. Well, it's the same when we're breaking down muscle tissues. When cells are being broken down, fats being shuttled and things like that, and muscles being broken down for exertion, there's going to be waste material, right? There's lactic acid and things like that happen, but there's going to be just garbage. So getting in there in between with the steady state cardio, it gets the blood flowing in there, and it gets in there and it starts cleaning some of that stuff out, and it's delivering more nutrients to the traumatized area, delivering more oxygen. Blood flow is so important, and especially as we get older, you see people that become really sedentary. They start having blood flow related issues, right? Where they, the extreme cases that they lose their fingers, their toes. That's what happens with things like frostbite. The flesh dies and blood can't flow anymore. Oxygen can't flow, so that's why everything dies, and then you have to have amputation. Same way when you get things like diabetes and stuff like that, it really becomes a blood flow issue, right? And if blood and oxygen can't reach every part of your body, those parts of the body are going to suffer, wither, and die, right? So again, as we're getting older and we're typically less active, blood flow is really important, even right down to the libido and things like that. It's all about blood flow, and that requires movement. That requires breathing, oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. It requires that exchange, and it's really, really simple, right? When I deal with guys and girls that come in and have a tremendous amount of weight to lose, right, and we do the higher intensity boot camp workouts and we're working nutrition, I'm all over them about coming in or getting outside and doing the steady state activity. We call it steady state because on a scale of 1 to 10 of exertion, the powerlifting, the bodybuilding, the kettlebell workout, that's your 8, 9 out of 10. You're breathing hard, you're pumped, you're uncomfortable, you're messed up. That's important. But in between, you need a lower intensity workout, a steady state workout that's like a 5 out of 10, right? You could do it for 2 hours. We don't want you to do it for that long, but you could do it for too long. Right? You almost get bored doing it, right? It's a lower level. That's lower level stress on the nervous system, but that's where the blood flow happens. That's where the oxygen delivery happens. That's where the cleanup happens, and it keeps the metabolic rate moving, right? So think of it as back in the old days, the old radiators, when they overheat, what they want you to do is pull over and idle, slow things down, let the temperature come down in the engine, right? That's what we're doing when we do steady state, right? Especially for a lot of people that are trying to get exercise back into their routines again. What we also want to do is get people working out 6 days a week for a few reasons. One is from a sedentary lifestyle to moving 6 days a week, you're going to burn a lot of calories. You're going to ramp up your metabolic rate. Big things happen in the first 4 to 8 weeks. But if you do something, and because you technically could do 2 high intensity workouts a week, maybe 3, really nail your nutrition, and you're going to lose a lot of weight. But the problem is, if you're already in a zone where you train and you're consistent and exercise is your life, you're going to get away with that. But typically when people come to see us and they've gained a lot of weight and they haven't been doing activity and they're out of shape physically and they're out of shape mentally, they're not able to have that discipline, because if they did, they wouldn't be 50 pounds overweight. They wouldn't be broken. They wouldn't be tired, right? So the reason why we want them working out 6 days a week is because every day you work out, right, it's front of mind. You're thinking about it. You're recovering from it. You're recovering from yesterday's workout. You're planning tomorrow's workout. You're getting ready to go to the gym. And when our mindset is there and when we're thinking about it, well, then it's front of mind. So we're going to be thinking better about the choices we make through the day with our food. We're going to think better about the activity level because we're being active. We're in it more. We're submersed into this new environment. We're going to get those benefits, right? Remember I said who you hang out with, the community you spend the most time with, basically predicts who you're going to become to what level. So what happens is if you're coming in only twice a week and trying to stay healthy and fit or become healthy and fit 2 out of 7 days, it's really going to be tough. The odds of you succeeding is pretty slim, right? Because you're still stuck in the old ways for more of the time. The majority of the time you're still in your old ways. You're on your own. You've got voids, right? So we want the activity 6 days a week. 7 if you want, but 6 is good. But if we're going to be active 6 days a week, we have to definitely alternate the intensity on the nervous system, right? So that we can be active for 6 days a week. Because you can come in, go balls out 6 days a week, and you'll get 2 weeks out of it, maybe 4 or 6. But there's going to be a point in time where you're going to break mentally or physically, right? You're going to overtrain. And when that happens and then you back off and don't train for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 2 months or 6 months, then any gain you made in the first 4 weeks going really hard has been long lost. So you're better off to start smarter. Just switching over. I already lost 10 pounds in a year and check tonight to see that. So Steph, just switching over to the fundamentals of bodybuilding over powerlifting, tightening up the nutrition, Steph's already down 10 pounds and still strong. Like, today, like on his legs, we're all trying to catch up to him on legs. His chest workout was good today. His shoulder's feeling better. He too's coming over a bit of a shoulder thing, right? So it's good, right? It's a positive thing to see happen. But what we need to do is remember, the more time we can spend doing the right things, the positive things, the more we're going to benefit from it. But we need to be smart about it. How do we go? It's about the long game, right? The key for me to be able to compete in November is to train through till November, to eat well through to November. So if I go too hard and I fuck things up and then I break away from it and then I don't do it and there's a lot of stops and starts and stops and starts, what's going to happen is November is going to come and I'll be down 25 pounds instead of 75 pounds or 100 pounds, right? So it's far more important to be steady and consistent, getting there, moving towards it all the time. So that's where you need to be smart about your training, smart about your rest, smart about your nutrition, smart about the stress that you put yourself under, right? And understand, if this is who I'm becoming, then I have to change a lot of my ways. So that means, those of you that know I'm a recovering alcoholic, I'm over 4 years sober. Well, how I spend my days and nights and weekends is far different. That's right, John. Keep moving forward, slow but sure. That's right. By the way, I saw your turtle artwork there, but I also saw your turtle artwork in that thing you were working on this week. It looked really cool. So at the end of the day, you have to make fundamental changes if you want to see big changes in your body, in your life and stuff. So I had to find other ways to keep myself occupied on a Friday night or Saturday night, or truth be told, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, I used to drink a lot, right? Number one thing, stay away from licorice. Hey, that's my fucking kryptonite. And you know what? I've been pretty good about it. I finished off the last of my Christmas licorice just around New Year's Eve, and I haven't succumbed to the cravings yet. But again, right, Steph, we were talking, still strong and Steph, is that if we're better with our nutrition and we're eating on point and we're cleaner and we're getting our meals in on time and we're consistent, we don't have the cravings, right? We don't. So at the end of the day, and then if you do and things are going well and you want to have one cheat meal, then it's one cheat meal, right? And then move on and get back to it and stuff. Like I always say, when I get into my cheat meals, it's really important I have my food prep ready so that I can go right back to the next meal the way I'm supposed to overall. Because if I don't, it's a lot easier to have another cheat meal. And then it's a cheat day, a cheat week, cheat month, cheat year, right? We don't want to see that. Steph wants me to stand up and then empty out my pockets to show. Well, Steph, the joke's on you. I'm actually naked from the waist down because I'm only filming the upper body right now. So we're not going to know what we're doing right now, that kind of thing. So that's the key is just, November's far enough away, but November's close enough, as well, too, to stay focused and stay tuned. A couple of plans and stuff, just all different, do in the gym to keep people excited and motivated, different programs to get people better themselves, get stronger, get fitter, working on that kind of stuff. We actually cool kids say this week. What have I got here? Let me just reach back. I got a couple of designs with me here. This is our long sleeve that we're doing. This is one of our new designs. The shield, the Hostile Badass member, established 2009 with a yoke in the back. We got that coming out. That's ready. We're doing the sleeveless. This is the yellow shield, established 2009. Cool yoke in the back. These are our new sleeveless t-shirts. Really nice, soft. They're koi. Super nice, super light. Feel really good. A couple new designs we have as well is I don't have them with me now. We've got Blood and Guts as a cool logo, white and yellow, which is pretty sharp. And then what's the other one we did? Oh, one more rep. Steph really likes the one more rep one. We're throwing that on some hoodies. And as far as accessories, we just upgraded our lever belts. So our new lever belts are black, but now we have the yellow inside because those are the Hostile colors, and a really nice flat black buckle on there. So that's pretty badass. Heavy duty. I gotta move slowly for the camera and stuff like that. So these came in. It's funny, I had a couple of these on display at the meet this weekend, and people were in love with them. They really liked them. Just they weren't prepared to buy any belts. They didn't expect to sell any buy any belts. And then what else we came with? Where's it? Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to stand up, but I do have pants on. I'm just messing around. And then we have our new neoprene knee sleeves that came in. So 7 mil, 29 centimeter, nice and thick, nice and tight. In fact, the 2XL I can't even put on, so we're going to come out with a 3XL. We had some demand for the neoprenes. We have the cotton ones that are our big seller that I really like, but there's been a lot of demand for the neoprenes, so we brought those in. And a few more things coming in. Clothing, we've got a couple more designs happening out, so we're going to be sort of dripping those out over the next week or so. Yeah, Steph's a big supporter of the brand. He loves the clothing and the equipment and stuff, and we definitely stress test that stuff every workout and stuff, that kind of thing as well. So that's a big thing we're going to see in 2019. I've got a bunch of projects for Hostile Gear happening, and I don't want to turn this into an infomercial. I just want to turn around and let you guys know what we're up to, right? And that's the other thing too, right? Balancing everything that I've got going on with being a dad and with being a husband and, running the gym and building the brand and the clothing accessories, things get really busy. So at the end of the day, that preparedness and that focus and dealing with the stress is super important to have that balance. But also, I find the more I have to do, the more I get done, if that makes sense, right? So it's really about that discipline overall. And I really want, a really cool exercise for any of you guys that are listening still. There's 4 or 5 of you on here. If you really want to make some changes for yourself, and this is only from personal experience, I'm not trying to pontificate. This is things I've done, and when I focus and I do them, that needle really moves, and we go to that next level. I go to the next level. And one of the things we do, or I recommend you do, is take a pen and paper out. I've always got a journal going, and I'm in my home office here downstairs, so it's nice and quiet. And, on a regular basis, sit down. That's what I like about that is it's a great day. And it's funny because every time I bring journaling up, we get into it, I always see people fall off, right? It's too bad because it's one of the most powerful things that you can do overall. And if you talk to people that have really got to the highest level of what they do, they will tell you journaling and mindset prep and stuff like that is the key to get them there, that got them there, that keeps them there, right? Absolutely, Janet, it works. It works. So this exercise is called Creating the Ultimate Day. So what you do is you take a blank section in your journal and you make it nice and quiet, and you close your eyes and you start thinking. JF, what's up, buddy? Thanks for that, man. Absolutely. Whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve it. It's good seeing you again, buddy. Can't wait to see you on the platform again. I know bodybuilding is your big thing as well, but you've done some powerlifting, and the two go hand in hand. So look forward to seeing you out there again in the near future, brother. So going back to this exercise, it's called the Ultimate Day, and you just sit there and you just start thinking, what would your ultimate day look like? Now, I'm not talking the ultimate day where you're retired on the beach and stuff like that. I'm talking about you still got 20, 30 years to get shit done, right? What would the ultimate day be based on focusing on working in your passions and what you love to do, right? And the things that are important to you and combining them all into that one day. So really it's about creating the ultimate itinerary. And think about it. What time would you get up? Where would you work? What would that work be like? Right? But really detail it to the point that, when you would eat and who you would spend time with, even down to the sounds and the sights and the smells, right? Where would it be? Would it be here? Would it be somewhere warm? Would it be somewhere cold? Would it be in the country? Would it be in a city modern? But it's a great exercise, and you do it from the moment you get up and you break down every hour until you go to bed that night. Right? And it's just, that's what you do. If nothing could stop you, what would that ultimate day be like? And you know what? Every time you do it, it gets a little better. It gets a little more detailed. As we get older or things change, maybe some of those things change overall. But I'll tell you, it's super powerful. Because then what you do, once you've created that ultimate day, all you do now is reverse engineer your life and start rebuilding and start aiming towards that, right? Super, super powerful. I would suggest you do it on a monthly basis, right? Until you really hone what it is. And once you start knowing it and you really own it and you start moving your life towards it, maybe you do it every 3 months or whatever, but a really, really, really powerful exercise. What would that ultimate day like? What would it be like? Right? It's just, it's crazy. It's super good. A little weird at first because sometimes you don't know what you want. Some of us have never stopped to think about what is it that we really want, right? What really makes us happy? Or we know this, when we do this activity, this really makes us happy, but then we're like, but how could I make a living doing that? Or how would my life look like that? Or what would my husband or my wife or my partner think? So we put these fears and these roadblocks in there, right? So at the end of the day, that's what stops us from going after these things because you can find a way to make a living doing whatever you want to do. Now, maybe you make $50,000 a year, maybe you make $1 million a year, maybe you make $25,000 a year. Who knows? But listen, if you found a way to be truly happy, you make $30,000 a year and you're truly happy and you're able to live, you win, right? You're winning because there's people out there that make $500,000 a year that are fucking miserable. They're not winning. In fact, they take all that money and they buy things and do things to try to make themselves happier. You know what I mean? So now there's some people out there that make great money, a lot of money, and they're truly happy doing it. That's where they should be as well, right? But most of us don't fucking know. I find it really interesting. My son, who's just on here giving me a hard time about Bigfoot, uh, it's time for him to choose a university and time for him to make a decision what he wants to do for his life. But he's 17, turning 18. That's a tough fucking call because there's so much you could do out there. There's so many opportunities. Much more 18 than when I was 18 30 years ago. Do you know what I mean? How do you make that decision? Because there's adults that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, 60s that still haven't found what they really want to do. And to create the ultimate day, right? Spend time, put some parent, you'll see things that you didn't see before. Do you know what I mean? Great, great, great exercise, scary exercise, unsettling a bit because you might come up with stuff that like, whoa, mind blown. What's it? That kind of thing. But super, super powerful overall, right? At the end of the day, guys, we control our own destinies, right? We control how we react to what the world throws at us. And at the end of it's up to us to buck up and push it. And one thing I'll say, guys, none of what I've talked about is easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be fucking lean. Everybody would have abs. No one would ever wear a shirt again. It'd be chaos, right? Everyone would be rich or what they're. I'm here, and I want to get to here and my sagging and moving around. But I know I want to have the ultimate day. I want to keep building a strong brand. I want to keep building a brand that represents the people that we're not done yet, that we have much more we can do, and that we're capable, and we can change our lives. We've become better, right? I want to have that brand that represents that helps strengthen people physically and mentally. I know that, and I know we're doing it, but I don't know what it's going to finish like. I don't know where it's going to take us. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't have those answers. I just know I want to keep moving forward. I know I want to keep moving forward and I want to improve. And along the way, I want to help a lot of people improve with me. Right. I know that for a fact. I know that, what big things is helping people achieve their goals. And having a business and a brand that can do that is definitely in line with what is important to me overall. And it's always evolving and where we're going and how we're going to do it. My journey is going, right? And that's actually, John, is something I'm working on, not done yet. I'll see you later, brother. Yes, right. Tuesday. At the end of the day, we're not done yet. There's a lot we can do, right? Part of it is the journey. It's the experience to get, but it's to be able to sit back and say, listen, I did something that mattered and I helped people. I mattered to people. I made a difference, right? To me, that's what's really important overall, right? I'm just the money. Money is a necessary tool to help you grow and stuff like that. But there's a lot of other ways I could have made a lot. It's not what I wanted to do. It's not part of who I am, right? Those are things that I'm figuring out. Those are stuff like that, But at the end of the day, I wanted to make it so that when we look back, we're proud of what we did. We're proud of the battles. We're proud of the losses. We're proud of the wins, right? I know right now, people listening, this is the second one of our live streams and stuff. So it's kind of like, I know when I look back 15 live streams from now, 20 live streams from now, and I'm down 30, 40, 50, 60 more pounds, That's where things really start to change exponentially. That's where more people will become aware of what I'm doing, what my company's doing, my brand's doing, what the people, right? But we have to have these not so impressive sessions. To have, where people will tune in and go, nah, still fat, nah, it's kind of old, right? You have to get through that so that when they turn around and that one video, 100, and they're like, oh my god, how did he do it? Well, I did it over the last 48 weeks, right? So you can't really, impressive as it really is going to be, weeks in, back to see where we've come. That's where we can take in and appreciate all the work that got done. And in all honesty, a lot of people start stuff and never finish it. So I think human nature is like, whatever, see that all the time, right? But if we can turn around and we can shoot a video that take a still from every podcast, not every podcast, but every live stream, a still, and then line it up week after week after week, and we see down weight, and see the change in the body, and the face, and the physique, and the way I talk over 100 pounds. That's where the real impressiveness is going to make itself evident. But you can't get there till you have these small steps. You can't get there till you have a week 1. You can't have a week 48. I can't walk on stage in November till I get week 1 of training done. I can't walk on stage in November till I get week 12 of nutrition, 12 weeks of eating good done. So you have to do these initial steps. The heavy lifting is always at the beginning, right? But you've got to go through that. Right? Even for me, there's a part of me that when I turn on this live cast, I can't wait to see when there's 100 people watching. But you know what? I'm pretty happy to have 1, 2, 5, 7. We had 8 at the peak today. I'm happy with that because you know what? 2 weeks ago it was a fucking 0, right? So it takes time, and you got to put that time in and then be consistent, right? So that people turn around and go, oh, I wonder if that guy's still doing it. And along the way, 20 more people, 50 more people, 1,000 more people are following the journey and stuff, and then being inspired and creating their own journey. That to me is what's exciting, and that's what's fulfilling, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first started Hostile and Hostile Gear, sold one shirt. I wore most of them. Now I was at a meet. That meet I was in Saturday, and people knew us. One guy came up and bought 2 more shirts. He goes, Kurt, I have this hoodie from 2 years ago. I bought off you. Do you know what I mean? It was really cool to have people talk about the clothing and the brand and the accessories like they already knew it. But that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't started this, like the shirt said, established 2009. That conversation, those cool conversations that happened on Saturday could not have happened had I not started in 2009, said I've got to lose weight, I've got to change the way I do things, and I have to make a difference for myself and for others. That's 10 years in. Right? That kind of thing. Some companies, they explode overnight. Most companies don't. Most brands don't. All of a sudden, they seem to be everywhere, and they feel like they're an overnight sensation, an overnight success. When we start to look into it and start to dig deep, you find out that shit started 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago, right? You gotta have the first episode. You have to have the first shirt. You have to do the first design. You have to do the first workout. You have to eat that first clean meal. Do you know what I mean? Those firsts are the first steps that make all the difference. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. These are critical points. That's why I tell people, don't wait for New Year's Eve, restart on a Monday, right? Because it's that first day that's so important. There's a Japanese saying, I believe, that says the most important time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second most important time is right now, right? And that's why that first step. And I'd rather see people take a bunch of first steps and stumble and get back up and take that first step and keep going, because that's really what's going to lead them. Success doesn't happen without that first step. Real success doesn't happen with the stumbles and falls. Real success doesn't happen without the setbacks. We just have to be honest about it with ourselves, right? Don't be in denial. Don't blame the world around you saying it's not, I'm overweight because, this is what happened to me when I was young. This happened, don't blame people for being overweight because, there's always this food in the house. Don't blame people for being overweight because, you're so busy you can't eat, because it's all fucking bullshit. The stuff that happened to us when we were young affects us, absolutely. But there's a point in time when we get old enough that we have to say, you know what? That was then. It was fucked up. But now every step I move forward, now that I'm self-aware, is my responsibility. So if I need to go get fucking therapy, go get therapy. If I need to stop drinking, then I need to stop drinking. It's that simple. That's when I become responsible. That's when you become responsible for it. Doesn't mean it still doesn't fucking hurt. Doesn't mean it still doesn't fucking sting, right? But you gotta take that and use it as motivation to move forward, not to fucking sit and fester, right? At the end of the day, right? One of the reasons why I haven't achieved certain things is because I haven't loved myself to a high enough level to put myself first and to hold myself first and to make myself accountable to myself. Those things have changed over the years. Those things are changing now. There's days where I feel like I'm 50 and I got no time left. There's days where I feel like most days where I feel like I'm 50 and I'm like, let's fucking kick down some doors. Let's get some shit done because I have a lot to do, right? And I got 50 more years to do it. But I want to rock those last 50 years. That's the difference. That's the power of the mindset, guys. You know, all part of the training, all part of nutrition, all part of goal setting, mindset, focus. I'm going to get through this. Don't always know how, but you're going to get through it. Guys, listen, I got to let you go. It's over an hour. I'm trying to keep these things to an hour. Reach me at curdhos@gmail.com. Subscribe if you want to stay notified. I'm going to start making videos too of some of our training. I don't have a lot of, editing prowess. I see some really cool videos out there. I definitely want to see our thing grow and get better. So if you guys have any suggestions out there, let me know, that kind of thing. But I've had a lot of people ask, they want to see what our actual workouts are. So I'm starting to film 1 or 2 sets of every exercise that we do. Then I'm going to upload them and put some videos together that way. Just to let you know as we're going through. And then just honest, hey, I'm still a fat guy, sweating it out, getting stronger and leaner and stuff. And, if you look back, you can see the difference in 40 pounds, but there's still another 60, 70 to go, right? So I'm being very real. It's a little raw. It's a little, putting myself out there. So, that kind of thing. So I know I'm going to have people say stupid shit, but that's okay. They're going to say stupid shit anyway. I just want to show you how I'm doing it. I want to show you how I'm going through. So when I'm having trouble getting out of the fucking leg press because I'm tired or because I'm still 360 pounds or 355 pounds, right? That's the real thing. That's the real thing we're going through and stuff like that. So I want to keep it real, inspire someone else who's heavier and say, look, if I can fucking do it, you can do it overall. But I can't wait till the day where I can just jump in the leg press, do a set, do backward somersault, all land on the other machine and do it. Those days will come, right? The ninja factor will increase. But in the meantime, right, I want to keep it real. I'm a 50-year-old rookie bodybuilder coming from powerlifting that has a lot of weight to lose, that's a little beat up, that has to get shit done, right? And that's what I'm going to show you guys. That's the realness I'm going to do. And that's just me being honest. And you know what I find is when I watch the videos, I see things in myself that I'm like, I want to improve that. I want to get leaner. I want to get rid of that kidney fat. I don't want to have that chest fat there, right? And for years, I avoided pictures and I avoided videos because I didn't want to see what I knew was there, but I didn't want to see it. And when you see it, it's powerful. I want to see his face get all shrink and tight and taut and manually, right? That kind of see. I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to get there. And I want to be able to look back and go, wow, what a difference, right? And then be proud of myself. I fucking earned that, right? But I know I'm not going to do it if I don't surround myself with a community. I know I'm not going to do it if I don't have some accountability. And I know for me, the way I'm wired, I do better when I throw myself out there. I'm going to get it done. Yeah, so I'm going to shut it down, Jan. You're absolutely right. Document the journey because that's when we look back, that's going to be some of the most precious memories we're going to have, right? To be able to look back and say, look what I did, right? Not to brag because it's never bragging if you do it, right? It's to look back and be able to sit there and appreciate what we did and what we went through, where we came from, what we went through, how we came out of it and stuff, and do things people said we couldn't do things we didn't believe we could do, right? That's the real power. Guys, like and subscribe and keep paying attention to the channel. And I'll see you guys next Sunday at 10 p.m. I'll talk to you guys later.